All right. Happy Thursday. So excited to be here to talk about the power of confidence. I have the amazing Jessica Bailey on today. This is such a full circle moment for me, having known Jessica last year, meeting her at the Miss British Columbia competition and seeing how far she's gotten with all her pageant achievements. So excited to have you on today's session. And I'm really looking forward to everything that we're going to talk about, especially about confidence, which I think is so important.
Patricia, honestly, it is full circle to me as well, but it's funny how we're both sitting in two different positions now, with you going to compete in an international pageant and I myself going to compete in a
Mhm.
national pageant. So I'm happy that we're able to meet right in the middle and be able to build into each other's journeys and, more importantly, inspire other individuals along the way. So thank you for having me.
Exactly. And I think you and I are both people that have built our confidence over the years. And, everyone
Mhm.
has struggles. And I think sometimes with social media, we see, these perfect pictures and we don't really think about what's behind that. And I think you and I are a really good testament to how you can build your confidence. And it's something that we can work on and we can continue to achieve. And it's so important for pageants as well as life in general. So it's
Oh,
great.
I completely agree,
Yeah.
especially with the fact that I would say that you and I are not bad looking individuals. I think that we are beautiful women. And the fact is that when you're in pageants, it tests your mental fortitude, it tests your ability to have that confidence, and whether the fact if you truly do believe in yourself. So I think the fact that we've both been in that situation and we're going into that situation and we've learned from it and we're able to build ourselves and hopefully others through it is just amazing.
Exactly. And I think also we'll be talking a little bit about our initiatives and how we build confidence as well, not only in ourselves, but in our community. So thank you. I'd love
Mhm.
to start off, Jess, talking a little bit about our pageant journeys and why we love pageants, because I think every single person has a different reason for why pageants are important to them. So I wanted to start off asking you a little bit about how you started in pageants and why you love them.
So, thank you for the question because it is one that has a lot of roller coaster turns with it,
Mm.
especially with the fact that I didn't sign up for my first pageant. My mom signed me up.
Yeah.
When
Wow.
when I was 18, as some of you may know, I'm a 6 foot tall woman. So many people that are of my stature don't have the most amount of confidence when it comes to outside of sports. And me being a volleyball player, I was known for sweatpants, top knot buns, and not much makeup ever. And not saying that that's a bad thing,
Mhm.
but in my personal opinion, I just wasn't really owning my own femininity because I didn't think I was able to.
Mhm.
So my mom entered me in a pageant because she knew that it would be a situation that would force me to embrace that. And it's funny because the first time I went to pageants, I didn't necessarily enjoy it because I didn't know who I was. I didn't have that confidence, but
Mhm.
it put me in a situation that made me realize that I needed to get to know myself better, which
Mhm.
is kind of exciting because that's something that I was able to prove when I re entered pageantry 5 years later.
Mhm.
When I entered, I was 18. And then when I re entered, it was during COVID, which was 2020. So it was about 5 years later. And I was able to see that progression in my own self development and character,
Mhm.
from that 18-year-old who didn't know who she was to a graduate from a university, a
Mhm.
working woman. And I had the most fun ever at pageants because
And I think that's the biggest thing about pageants is having fun. It's the connections you
Mhm.
make and it's about the self growth that you accrue in yourself, right?
Exactly, exactly. But to be able to enjoy that, you have to be open to it. Unfortunately, when you're, yeah, I'm sure you can attest to it. Like going into a pageant, it's intimidating, don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
But when you're surrounded by that many impactful women, you have to choose to dive in and
Mhm.
learn.
100%. And having so many role models, even just within the woman that you're meeting, it's pushing you to be a better version of yourself. And I think for me, with my pageant journey, there were so many things that, I was really interested in fashion. I was really interested in helping women with their styling and embracing their
Mhm.
confidence. And so I really found pageantry as an avenue to pursue my purpose. And I think having so
Mhm.
many motivated women around you really helps you go after that why and keeps you motivated and really turns you into the best version of yourself.
Exactly, exactly. And just to like throw it back at you, I'm curious because I got to witness your very first pageant. I'm honored
Yes.
to be able to say that. And I
Mhm.
also got to experience your national pageant,
Mm.
which had a big gap and a lot of development in between. How were those experiences for you? How did you develop yourself in
Yeah.
between that? And how did you grow your confidence?
For sure. I would say that, especially starting out with pageants, I had no pageantry experience, very similar to yourself. I kind of threw myself into a new experience, hoping to challenge myself to learn and grow from it. And I definitely did. And I think the more after I won Miss British Columbia, the more and more I got into pageants, the more motivated I got and the more goal oriented and I got, and I felt more confident within myself. And so I think through that, it really pushed me and drive me to work on myself in every single way, mentally, physically, spiritually. And I think that push has really helped me become the woman I am today, successful, not only in pageants, but also in my professional life, in my personal life. It's really helped me be a really well rounded person, and it has helped me gain confidence. And I think every time you take action and you do something that is scary, that potentially is uncomfortable, and you show yourself and you prove to yourself that you can do it and you can do it well, is how you grow your confidence.
No, I fully agree with you. And that's the thing that I don't think people understand about pageantry. So
Mhm.
often they think it's all about the superficial. They think about the glitz, the glamour, but behind the scenes, we are developing as human beings and we're pushing ourselves.
Mhm.
Pageants aren't just based on the stage performance, it's based on your interview, it's based on your community initiatives, which I know yourself has created an amazing one
Thank
and I'd
you.
love to hear more about. But these are the things that matter about pageantry and why it's important.
100%. And I think, a lot of times people, they may have misconceptions about pageantry because I think we
Mhm.
hear this a lot. And the more that I find friends or family, the more I talk to them about it, the more they see how important it is and what a great avenue it is for women to grow and develop themselves, especially as young women, to be strong, independent leaders where they're working in their community bigger than themselves to make a bigger impact. And I think
Mhm.
having these strong women, like being able to meet you, even just like it's such a
Aw.
motivation to have these amazing people in your life. So I'm really interested to hear with, coming up with Miss Universe Canada, what is some of the preparation that you're going through right now?
So, Miss Universe Canada was the first pageant that I entered when I was 18. So, this is my complete full circle moment.
Mhm.
So, it's such a new experience for me. I'm actually prepared this time. I have checklist galore. I am working in my community right now to develop a fundraiser for SOS Children's Villages, which provides education, houses, and more importantly, family and homes to orphaned and abandoned children in Canada, in Nicaragua, in Costa Rica, and in Dominican Republic, and globally as well. But those are the ones that we're being more specific with. So
Mhm.
for myself going into this pageant, I know this might sound a little bit cliche, but I genuinely want to make sure that I am genuine when I'm there.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, I'm
And I
sure.
think and I think when you're genuine and authentic, that shines through.
And I'm sure you can attest to it as well. When you know who you are, what you're presenting, you're being genuine. It's so much more fun, right?
So much more fun. Yeah, because you're being yourself, you're putting your real self out there, and you're making genuine connections with people.
No, exactly. And adding on to that as well, surrounding yourself by people that are also genuine, like yourself, Patricia,
Mhm.
are things to be able to give yourself that ability to open up yourself, wear that heart on your sleeve,
Yeah,
and be true with those around you. Because I think too often nowadays we put a smile on and we keep
yeah,
everyone at a superficial level, right?
100%. And I think those deep, meaningful connections, and the more you make, the more you're able to impact people, especially
Mhm.
help them
No,
with confidence. Yeah,
and exactly. And we're both basically in an interview for a role model position, right?
100%. 100%.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, like for Miss Universe Canada, you're representing Canada and you're representing Canadian values. And I think both of us, we've talked about this, Jessica. We've talked about how, as a country, we are so diverse, we're so altruistic. And I think those are aspects that I believe every country should have and think about. And it's something I think that is unique and special to us as Canadians that I think we can share with the world and hopefully with the continent and Miss Intercontinental as well.
Exactly. And I know that you're going to do an amazing job of it because I believe you are that person that does represent the holistic, kind spirit of a Canadian, but also a driven individual that wants to make an impact, not just in Canada, but globally, right?
Exactly, a global impact. And I think as being a Canadian and with, of course, the Power of Beauty Award, knowing that Caitlin Lee, our Canadian representative, she
Yes.
was the first to ever win the Power of Beauty. I think I'm so proud to have that legacy behind me going into Miss Intercontinental this year. And I think
Mhm.
it's such a special award, the Power of Beauty. It's talking about being a change maker, being entrepreneurial, and really using beauty to make a difference because beauty is powerful and we know that we can make a difference in the world and in the continents as a whole. So very excited for that opportunity coming up later this year.
Exactly. And every day I've seen you on social media. I did see you in person when you lived closer to me. I obviously
Yeah,
missed that you live
I
closer to
know.
me.
Yeah.
But tell me a little bit more about your journey from going from a national pageant to Miss Intercontinental. How has that experience been for you, and how are you preparing?
Yeah, for sure. That's a great question, Jess. I think I kind of touched on it earlier, but the first time when I trained for my national pageant, it was going, mentally, spiritually, physically. And once you win that national pageant, it all starts again, right? You continue
Hmm.
to grow. And I think with that, it's just been a continuous evolution for me of progress, of improvement, of continuing to put myself in new situations, challenge myself. And I think that is how I've been preparing mentally, physically. Of course, we have amazing Andrew helping us with our walks, so but we're also working on our interview. We're working on so many different aspects of ourselves, our public speaking. So just it's a continuous improvement. And I believe in life, you don't just learn and you stop learning. You can always continue to learn and to grow. So for Miss Intercontinental, that's really the mindset I'm taking is what else can I do right now to grow myself and really be the best version of myself and represent my country the best that I can. So I'm really excited and looking
Love
forward
that.
to it. Yeah. And I think that comes a lot with confidence, right? Because you're confident and you're showing up and you're showing the best for your country. And so today I really wanted to get into confidence with you. So let's get right into it, Jessica. Are you ready?
Love it. I'm ready for some confidence.
Love it. So I wanted to ask you, we can start out too, because I think everyone has their own definition of confidence, but what is the meaning of confidence for you?
I think the meaning of confidence for me is not necessarily being content with yourself, but meeting yourself where you are right now in your own developmental
Mhm.
journey. My personal statement is I am who I am because of who I was and who I aim to be. And the fact is that none of us are perfect. None of us are going to have everything put together at all points. And you don't need to have that to be confident. What you need to do is accept yourself where you're at, accept yourself with the goals that you're building towards. And more importantly, know that you are enough for yourself and others. So
100%.
for me, that's what confidence is. But I know for you, it's a very individual thing. So what is confidence for you, Patricia?
Yeah, building on that, Jessica, I think, accepting yourself is so important. And I think that is definitely a great meaning of confidence. And I think one way that we continue to grow our confidence, which I kind of touched on before, is continuing to push ourselves. And so, one of the questions I asked myself, I actually have this written down and I have it on my behind me on my screen monitor. So I look at it every day. And the quote says is, "What would you do if you weren't afraid?" Because
Love that.
I have we all have dreams and ambitions, but sometimes there's things holding us back from that, right? And so
Mm,
I think every time I think about how do I show up as my best self, my best self, knowing that I might fail, but that's okay because I'm going to learn something from it, right?
Yeah.
It's really, for me, confidence is continuing to push myself outside of my comfort zone. And each and every single time I do that, I gain confidence. So, for
Hmm.
example, I went and lived in Italy for a year by myself when I was, I guess, 22 years old, which was a really exciting experience for me. And I think it showed me that no matter what, I was able to take on new situations.
Hmm.
So I think
Hmm.
there's so many different ways that you can build your confidence, but I think really continuing to push yourself is a really great way to do that. Of course, accepting yourself because nobody is perfect, as we know, but we know that we can always improve and through that learn more about ourselves and our values. And when you know yourself well, you're more confident in yourself, wouldn't you say?
Exactly. Exactly. I love everything that you are saying. Preach it to the choir,
Preach it
Patricia.
to
I
the
love
choir anytime.
it.
Anytime, anytime. Yeah. One of the things I love to say to, of course, the Miss BC girls or anyone that's competing in Canadian pageantry right now, what I love to tell them is it's really, as a winner and to have confidence, it's really that you're here and you're trying.
Hmm.
That, the willingness to try and fail and learn is how you're going to build your confidence,
No,
right?
exactly. One of my favorite things about pageantry is you always have to be prepared to walk away with a crown, but
Mm-hmm.
you also have to be prepared to walk away without a crown.
100.
And that shouldn't change who you are. It should not affect your confidence. It should just be the
Yeah.
fact that it wasn't your day and you need to try again another day and it will happen, you know?
And we've seen time and again, so many representatives continue, and they get it one day. So all
Mhm.
your dreams, I really believe all your dreams are available to you. It's just up
Mhm.
to you to go and get it. And through consistency, the more you practice, the more you put yourself out there, the more you learn, you grow, and your confidence grows with it.
Exactly, exactly, Patricia. I agree with you.
Love it. Perseverance, practice. And I know with Andrew, of course, with one of our amazing coaches, practice makes perfect, as we know.
Yes, Andrew has truly transformed Patricia and myself from
Yes.
the Missy BC pageants to
Yeah.
the nationals,
To
and
the
he continued
nationals, to
exactly,
internationals as well.
exactly.
Yeah. Fantastic. And I think one of the things that really made me want to talk about confidence here with you today is in my project, the Future Fashion Initiative, where I help women in need with styling for job interviews so that they're successful. One of the main things I work on with these women is confidence. And so that's why
Oh,
I really wanted to talk about it today because I can tell how each and every single person I work with, I can have an impact on them and their confidence. And I believe we can all try and help each other to grow and to impact each other and make us feel good and confident and ready. So I wanted to ask you a
mhm.
little bit more about what do you do in your community and what do you think helps grow confidence in the people that you work with?
So for myself, I work with individuals that are visually impaired and blind. I have a nonprofit organization called the Accessible Movement, which seeks to secure equal access for recreational facilities for individuals with disabilities. So confidence is a huge thing. Even people that are fully abled, you walk into a gym, most likely you'll be intimidated. There's guys with huge barbells, there's people lifting up dumbbells bigger than my head. So it can be very intimidating. So for myself, when I'm working in the community, we host blind sessions every Sunday. And so far we've been able to accomplish 75, which is just
Amazing.
something. Yeah, it grew. I started 2 years ago, had no idea where it was going to go to. But the one thing I have witnessed is the confidence in my participants when it comes to themselves. Like they didn't believe that they were able to do what they're able to do because they had been told consistently that they were not able to do it. They were denied access to gyms just because they couldn't see or they were worried that they were going to hurt somebody. They were
Mhm.
seen as liabilities. They were charged personal training fees just because they wanted to get fit. And for me as an exercise professional, exercise is medicine. So I was not okay with that. But the thing is that even though those people may have discouraged them, having the ability to have a safe space to grow that confidence,
Mhm.
to grow their abilities, and feel like they are capable of doing what they are able to do,
Yeah,
because disabled does not mean you are not able to do things.
100%.
It's the environment that matters and making sure that we're able to do that. So how you're doing it in the fashion industry, I'm doing it more on the exercise and physiology
Mhm.
scheme of things. And I believe that every single initiative that people start is trying to build confidence in individuals, whether it be spiritually, physically, or mentally.
100%. And there's so many different aspects we can grow our confidence in. And health is
Mm.
so important, our health and being able to learn how to look after our bodies. So I think that's such an amazing initiative that you're
Thank
doing,
you.
Jessica. I really know that you're making an impact in your community for sure.
Thank you.
I think one thing too, I think would be important to talk about too is it's what you're doing, but it's also how you're doing it. And I think there's a really big distinction with that because a lot of times with the women I work with, I can style them, I can give them clothes for job interviews, but it's how I style them. It's how I talk to
Mhm.
them, right? And it's
Yes.
really how you can let people see the spark that you see within them already.
Hmm.
Because sometimes a lot of the women I work with, they're women in need that are coming from difficult situations and they're trying, they might be immigrants, they might be new to Canada, and they're trying to get a job. And in order to get a job, they need clothing to do so. And so a lot of
Hmm.
times they come in feeling like, I've tried everything. I'm unable to find something that makes me feel good, that I look good in. Or, maybe they feel that it's really hard to find a certain size of pant for them. So it's really
Hmm.
showing them the possibilities. And I can tell every time I walk them through it, we end up with these amazing outfits and they look in the mirror and they're like, oh my God, I do see myself as being successful. I do see myself as someone who could get this job and nail this interview. And so a lot of it is how you actually work with people to build their confidence. It's what you're doing, but it's also how you're doing it.
Exactly, exactly. And one thing that I have found, I think it would translate to the individuals that you're working with as well, is that sometimes people will look down on them depending on what they wear or
Mhm.
by their disabilities. And that's not what anybody wants. Like everyone wants to be seen for who they are, like for holistically the aura that they present to the world and the positivity that they bring in. And the fact that you are doing that and giving these women a safe space, like I do for the disabled
Yes.
people,
Mhm.
is honestly, it's beyond words how impactful that is for them, because very often people don't get the amount of respect that they deserve, even though they are humans. They have the exact same chromosomes as us.
Exactly, 100%. And I think it's also helping them to see the spark within themselves, helping them to see
Mm-hmm.
that they are capable,
Mm-hmm.
because we all have down days, we all have difficult situations. So it's showing them, hey, you can look amazing. You have the qualifications, you have everything you need to be
Yes.
successful. Let me just hold your hand a little bit to get you through it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I think too, another thing as well I'm doing is doing mentorship, taking it a
Oh,
step further. So I recently started mentoring some of these women. So I'm really excited to mentor them beyond just styling to see how we can make a bigger impact in their lives.
oh, I love that. And tell me a little bit more about that mentorship. I'm just plugging in my phone because it's about
Yeah,
to die.
no worries. No
This
worries at
conversation
all.
is too good to give up
It's
on.
it is too good to give up on. Yeah, I think, when I'm helping women, I'm styling them, I'm giving them clothing, I'm helping them feel confident. That's amazing. And that's one piece of the puzzle that they need in order to get the job. However, once they get the job, how do we continue to keep the confidence? How do we continue to have them getting the resources they need to be successful? So for me, it's really teaching women as my role with styling how to continue to style themselves to be confident without me, but also how I can help them overall with their mindset and their focus and staying consistent and staying positive. I think affirmations are really important. I don't know if you do them, Jessica.
Yes. Yes.
Affirmations
Affirmations are
are
so
fantastic.
important.
Yeah. Another life hack I have is I don't know if you've heard of this, but writing down a success sheet. So one of the things I do is I have a sheet every single year where I write down all the successes and all the goals that I was able to hit that year. And that really helps me reflect and look back on everything I've done. And so that's what I tell people to do, because once you look at all the things you've accomplished in the year, your confidence, of course, increases.
Of course, and having the gratitude to acknowledge your success and the positive things that have happened in your life. Because in every unfortunate situation, there is a light, there is something to be able to look towards. And it's amazing that you're enabling women to be able to see that. So it's so awesome to see how our own individual specialties and
Mm.
confidence has been able to impact communities in different ways. And it's so cool to see that you're continuing to do that, Patricia. Is this what you're planning to take while you're going to Miss Intercontinental? Are you planning on sharing this message globally?
Definitely. And I think, with each of our programs, you start in your community, you start with your friends, you start with your family, you start with your community, then you bring it to your country. But yes, I think what we plan to do overall is we really want to bring the message to not only Canada, but the rest of the world, with all those amazing Canadian values, being welcoming, friendly, like we talked about, also having such
Mhm.
a multicultural society, but also bringing that message of every single woman should be empowered to be a leader and to be successful.
Mhm.
And I think I want every single person to remember that they can fulfill their dreams. It's all about just trying. And remember, do what makes you feel afraid.
Exactly. And I'm going to continue to do things that make me feel afraid because you
Yes,
have inspired me for that. I love
love
that
it.
slogan. I'm definitely going to use it again sometime.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Jessica, for this amazing line. But I'm happy we were able to make it work.
Yes.
We persevere no matter what happens. That is what we do as beauty queens.
I know technology may not be our friend, but we are friends, so we make it work, right?
Exactly. I am so excited to watch you upcoming in August on the Miss Universe Canada stage in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, your hometown. I will be cheering you on with my whole heart, which you know.
Aw.
And I'm so proud of you and everything that you've accomplished. You've been a huge role model to me. Thank you so much for being here during this session to talk a little bit more about confidence. Hopefully, next time we'll be able to get it to work on Instagram Live. But I'm still so happy we were able to have this conversation to share it with the world.
Exactly. And thank you so much, Patricia, for having me on this conversation. It speaks wonders to the amount of growth that you have made, but also the way that you're able to use your words to inspire others. I feel inspired right now. I feel more confident right now. So thank you for that. I know that you're going to be able to translate that onto the international stage at Miss Intercontinental. And I have a feeling that you might be a front runner. I think that you might walk away with something on your head. I have no clue. We'll see.
We'll see.
But I'm definitely praying for it. I will not lie.
Thank you so much, girl. And I believe we're all winners. When you do your best, you show up as your best self. That is what a winning mindset really is.
Exactly. And I can tell you already have the winning mindset. And the fact that you're prepared to walk away without a crown is the mindset to go in with. But I have a feeling you may. And I hope that you do.
Thank you so much, girl. Representing the true power of beauty, which is Canada. We are
Exactly.
intercontinental.
Yes, and the true north strong and
True
free.
North, strong and free. Exactly. Thank you so much, Jessica. I'll be ending the session now, and hopefully we'll get some questions, and hopefully we can do a live again soon and actually have our amazing audience here talking to us live.
Exactly. And I would love to be able to have another live stream with you because so far I feel like we have touched base on so many important topics. And I'm grateful to be able to communicate our thoughts, our desires, and also what we're working on and our passions to the live and Instagram community. Hopefully, this is on
Love
Facebook
it.
too, but we'll see.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Jessica. You have a lovely evening and love you, girl.
Love you. Love you. Enjoy Toronto. Mwah.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.